heritage of particularly of Old Goa. And in the last media address, we had very clearly brought out that we are not just talking about UNESCO recognized monuments, but we are also talking about the entire precincts of the Old Goa complex, which also includes the earlier history of Goa, particularly related to the Kadamba dynasty. It was explained by Professor Sakardande that how important the Rajgir and particularly the fort wall is towards preservation of heritage, and what are the steps that need to be taken. And accordingly, we had written a letter to the Director of State Archaeology also, bringing out all these aspects. So far nothing has been heard from there. But now what is very important is particularly related to the UNESCO. Once again we are coming back to the UNESCO recognized monuments, that is the churches and monuments of Old Goa, churches and convents of Old Goa. I will just recall that on 22nd of March of this year, people of Old Goa and some other activists had noted that there was mass scale destruction of forests and there was excavation at this site using heavy earth moving machinery. Somehow on that day we managed to stop the felling of trees to some extent. Already some trees were felled, and we became very curious because there were artifacts that were found of extreme, what do you call that, antiquities importance. So having found those artifacts, we realized that something is going wrong here. This was not the manner in which any site, archaeological site, had to be excavated, and the people exerting their pressure managed to stop the work. Now the people had stopped the work on that particular day, and it was followed by a meeting, a bigger gathering of people the next day, that is Sunday, 23rd of March. Thereafter, complaints have been lodged by various people before the ASI, before the police authorities, and we had been following it up. We have also written, Prajal and myself and some others have also written to the Secretary Ministry of Culture, which is the department, the administrative ministry of the ASI, Archaeological Survey of India. We have written to them time and again. So far we have not received any response. In the meanwhile, I had submitted an application under RTI just asking for some basic facts. This was filed on the 8th of April 2025. Now you will ask me, from 8th of April till now, why so much of a gap? I did not get this information which was asked on 8th of April, and I had to file under RTI a first appeal. You know that you have to file a first appeal under the RTI Act, and after having filed a first appeal, I got a reply to that on 24th of July, that is a few days ago, wherein they said that the CPIO, the Central Public Information Officer, has replied to you, and they have enclosed the reply to me, which I had never received earlier. And now it is very interesting for you to note what I had asked. I had said, copy of reports generated by ASI, Goa, Circle, between 22nd March. Now that is a crucial date because that is the day the work had been stopped. And work had started before that. The work was being done by the GTDC. So we had asked for copy of reports generated from that day till date of application in respect of excavation of prohibited area. Now you have to understand, we have spoken about it, what is prohibited, what is regulated, what is protected at Old Goa. For the proposed Prasad scheme, by then we knew that this is under Prasad scheme. They said work is in progress. Work of compilation of reports was in progress as of 7th May, so it is not given. Second, copy of permission granted by ASI to the applicant tourism, which is undertaking that work. They told me to collect it yesterday. They told me to collect it yesterday. I have collected it. I will come to that. Copy of work stoppage order issued by ASI to the GTDC. So they said you can collect this also, which I have collected yesterday. Fourth, copy of permission to use heavy earth moving machinery at the site of work. No such permission was issued by this office. Fifth, number of artifacts such as cannonballs recovered from site where heavy earth moving machinery was used. They have answered that they have found 18 cannonballs and 1 stone slab. And lastly, because we had discussed about it, that this particular area where the work had started was somewhere in the vicinity of the earlier what was called arsenal, or local the Ribeira Grande. So we asked for a copy of information maintained in respect of arsenal. The answer was no such information has been compiled. Historical sources, literary sources in public domain, example books, research publications may be referred to. So they have put it back to us that they are not maintaining any kind of such studies about the area. Now, having said that, I'll come to the point number 2 and 3 of this reply. Point number 2 is this permission that they had granted to the Archaeological Survey of India, Monuments Division, New Delhi, had given to the ASI Goa Circle on behalf of GTDC. Now, GTDC was the applicant for the work, so they have conveyed, the New Delhi office has conveyed to ASI Goa, and I will directly take you to point number 23. See, these are the conditions. There are 29 conditions imposed on them while executing this work. Out of that, what is important for people to know is point number 23, which I have highlighted here, and I will give it to the media. No heavy-duty machinery / material shall be used which causes or likely to cause damage or injury to any part of the monument or within its premises during execution, installation of the proposed activities. So this condition was already laid down that heavy earth moving machinery cannot be used. Another important condition is number 27. In the event of finding of any object of archaeological / architectural significance during the course of the work, the same shall be immediately brought to the notice of the superintending archaeologist, Goa Circle. So in other words, the moment you find something of importance, archaeological importance or architectural importance, they were supposed to notify the ASI. Further, the Director General ASI or the authorized representative shall have the right to inspect the execution of the works at any time, ask for report on quality of works being undertaken in the monument. Any grievances arising in the matter shall be mutually sorted between ASI and GTDC. Friendship. There is a friendship between ASI and GTDC. So there is a separate kind of treatment to GTDC. But that is not important. What is important is right to inspect at any time, right to report, the condition, the duty to report any archaeological find, and no earth moving machinery to be used. Now what we have seen here on 22nd, and the work had started prior to that, at least 2-3 days prior to that. That is why you see those big trenches made. That is why you saw a lot of cannonballs having already been found. Now the question that arises is, when people have raised the issue, when people have gathered and stopped the work, that is the time Archaeological Survey of India has reacted. There was no proactive stand, there was no proactive action on their part. They were aware because see, this office of the ASI in Old Goa is just a stone's throw away from where this site was being excavated. Despite that, no reporting has been done by GTDC or the contractor. Contractor has been allowed, has been given the liberty to excavate by using heavy earth moving machinery, which becomes an offense. Now this is the crux of the whole thing. It becomes an offense under the MSR Act, that is the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites Remains Act, and also the Art and Treasure Act, Antiquities Art and Treasure Act. Both are central laws, and these central laws are very powerful in the protection of heritage. ASI Goa has miserably failed, deliberately I can say, for various reasons, to handle this situation. And this condition also is very funny, that they shall mutually discuss if there are any grievances. Now what are the grievances? Who has grievances? You have violated the law. You have destroyed by using heavy earth moving machinery, which you were not permitted in the first instance. You have not reported the archaeological finds. We had to tell the police. I myself personally had called the police at the site to take into possession the archaeological find, knowing how important these archaeological finds are. So therefore, what we today demand is that ASI in Goa is not required. ASI in Goa, what is the mandate of ASI and what exactly ASI ends up doing is highly questionable. It is time ASI packs their bags and goes. Because there are various ways of looking after heritage. In England, if you go, there is what is called the English Heritage Trust. Nothing to do with the government. Here what is happening is there is increasing pressure of the builders lobby to such an extent that nobody gives any attention to this, nobody cares. I can clearly see that the double engine, both at the center and in the state, are working against the interests of heritage. These UNESCO recognized sites are facing danger, not from anywhere else. They are facing danger from the very authorities that are mandated to protect this heritage. Taking the issue to a wider extent, we had raised the issue of the Kadamba dynasty and the letter written to the state archaeology. I will request my friend Professor Sakardande to enlighten you on this.
Actually, time and again we have raised this issue about Old Goa. In particularly the road Rajbeet. Last time I had mentioned about the Rajbeet. That road, Royal Highway, which is connecting Gopak Pattana, that is Goa Velya, with Ella, that is Old Goa. So 9-kilometer road is there, and that road, which is of laterite, built of laterite pavement, that is being violated by the builders. So builders are encroaching upon it from all the sides, and that particular road, so Kadamba Raja, Jaikeshi first, हाणे बांदिल्लो 11th century, it is still existing. पण जेन्ना ओल्ड गोवा पावता त्या रोडाचेर जायते एन्क्रोचमेंट, म्हणजे there are so many builders. Just now I learned also that one of the builders, I will not name him, he is he is destroying the fort wall. Earlier he had filled the moat, the khandak je asta, he had filled that particular thing with mud. So now he is at it at the fort wall. So fort wall asa वयर moat asa, Goraksh Math asa, ancient site of Goraksh Math. Now that is also it is totally in ruins. So there are two old Goas, one old Goa which is below and one old Goa which is above. So वयली जी आसा ती कदंबा पिरियडाची ओल्ड गोवा आसा. सो ती कदंबा पिरियडाची ओल्ड गोवातले मेन इशू आसा तो राजबीत. राजबीत आमकां प्रोटेक्ट करपाक जाय. आनी apart from Elvis Gomes ASI सांगला ते I would also now this particular heritage which is of the Kadamba period, the Rajbeet, the magir te Goraksh Math, then Lotus Pond, Queen's Pond, then underground palace of Saundekar, all that should be looked after by the it should be notified by the Goa State Archaeology. But the Goa State Archaeology has not notified that old Goa which is existing on top of the hill. So ते एला जे सगळे इनफॅक्ट आम्ही RP 2021 ते आर्किओलॉजिकल पार्क म्हणून मार्क केले. सो गोपक पट्टना, एला, मागीर चांदोर ते कांयच झाले ना. सो व्हॉट आय एम रिक्वेस्टिंग द गोवा स्टेट आर्किओलॉजी that if that is not of national importance, they will say it is not of national importance, so we will not notify it. So we are requesting the Goa State Archaeology that it is of state importance. Kadamba dynasty was ruling over Goa from 11th century to mid 14th century, 3.5 centuries. तांबडी सुल्लाचे देवळी ताणे बांदिल्ले, but that is of national importance. तो ASI च्या अंडर आसा ते. So गोरक्ष मठ कोण प्रिजर्व करतलो, माधव तीर्थ कोण प्रिजर्व करतलो, मागीर क्वीन्स पॉन्ड, टँक्स आसा, अंडरग्राउंड पॅलेस ऑफ सोंदेकार, राजबीत आसा, फोर्ट वॉल आसा, मोट आसा आनी फोर्ट आर्क आसा. हे सगळी जी वयर हेरिटेज आसा ती प्रिजर्व जावपाक जाय म्हणून आमी रिपिटेडली प्रेस कॉन्फरन्स घेत आसा, आमी लेटरां बरयत आसा, but in vain, we are not getting any success. So I don't know what is the way out. So I request the Goa State Archaeology and the Archaeology Minister to notify this entire start. Otherwise, it is totally vulnerable to development, and सगळे builders ते काबार करतले because they don't care for all whatever I am saying. So they will completely develop it and they will finish that entire heritage which is there on top of the hill. So this is through the press. All the time we are repeatedly asking the Goa State Archaeology, the ASI to look into this matter. This is about unnotified sites. Notified sites are also all neglected. पण जो large number of unnotified आसा त्यो notify जर केल्यो, builders जे आसा land sharks, because all over now गोवाचे कितें आसा परिस्थिती की सगळे कडेन land sharks जाल्या. All those builders from Delhi, Bombay, they want to come to Goa and everybody wants to buy Goa. आता उरुना already Goa is being sold. Every day Goa is being sold. Now while we are giving this press conference, I don't know how many applications must have been received by TCP department and already they are considered. Yotin DLF असा Loda आणि ते दुसरे कोणते? I forget their names also. Bhutani. So they are all there. अशी सगळी नावा गोंयांत आसा. Goa is being sold totally. Land conversions, eco-sensitive zones are being converted into settlement zones. And this is going on everywhere. Greenery is being destroyed. So I don't know what, repeatedly we activists are always blowing the whistle that Goa should be saved, land conversion should be stopped. Just the other day, media had brought out this news that Asgaonचे full hill कावार करतात. हे रेश मागोचे हिल कावार केले. आता आणि एक प्रोजेक्ट येवपाचो मिरामार. तो मिरामार प्रोजेक्ट जो येवपाचो व्हडलो प्रोजेक्ट थंय सचदेव्स मेमोरियल आसा. कॅज्युअली ट्रीज आसा. Are they going to destroy Sachdev's memorial, which is governor's memorial? So every time when there is this, we are fighting. All the time we are talking, but the whole of Goa doesn't come with us. Okay, media is supporting us. Only because of the media, all these issues which we are highlighting are kept alive. Otherwise, there is no voice. We don't have any voice. Our voice is through the media. So that is why we are appealing to the media to highlight these issues. Because Goa, सगळेकडे हिलकडे, Asgaon is become colony of the Delhi people. Moira, Aldona, सगळेकडे Delhi जो colony असा. So everywhere it is being destroyed, land is being converted, and North Goa is already sold. South Goa also they are trying. South Goa तरी मातशे उरला. So that also they are trying to sell. And Old Goa is, although a World Heritage Site, on 1 kilometer nothing should come up. Still it is being violated. So this
I will just
situation.
add one important point, very important point, and that is, as some of you asked me earlier before we started this press conference about master plan demand yesterday in the assembly. Now let me make it very clear. What we have talked about is not much about master plan. Master plan demand has been there for the last 25 years. At least I know, because I had made a strong move when I was in the service earlier. In the year something like 2008-9. From then on it has been going on. Master plan is a different issue altogether. Here we are talking about the violation by none other than government departments and government bodies. It's very clear that they have violated the Amsar Act and there should be punishment. Now ASI is waiting. Who will take action? They are mandated to take action. They should have by now filed an FIR. Direct FIR with the police against GTDC for the violation which I have pointed out. They have employed earth moving machinery, heavy earth moving machinery. They have not reported the fines, architectural fines. Add to that, there is another issue. In the year 2010, there was a very important amendment to this Amsar Act, and that amendment introduced another section altogether and made heritage bylaws compulsory for every state where there is heritage. We are now in 2015. No government dares to bring out these heritage bylaws. Our friend, another activist, John Mascarenhas, has done enough study about this. Intact was given the mandate to draft these rules. And it has been brought out that the rules for Goa have been drafted and kept in cold storage only to facilitate these builders. If had those bylaws been notified, even that bungalow in Old Goa would not have come. And these mega projects in Old Goa would not have come. So there is intense pressure, and for obvious reasons these heritage bylaws are not getting notified. So it is for the people to understand what exactly is happening with your government, the elected people, and by keeping heritage bylaws on the back burner, they are going ahead with this kind of developments, because the moment they notify the heritage bylaws, everything will come to a standstill. So that is what we want to impress upon you. Our point today is very limited towards action, criminal action that has to be taken for the violations that has happened in Old Goa. As far as heritage bylaws is concerned and the master plan is concerned, we may talk at a later date, but it is not necessary right now. Right now the demand is that action has to be taken. That's all.
One question we have.
I suppose if any questions are on this subject, we'll answer. Any other thing?
This subject only.
Yeah.
You said the seriousness of ASI to take care of their archaeological finding and archaeological sites which are notified and non-notified. Other states they treat archaeological finds like treasures, because when we go for tourist visit, we see even the vehicles are not allowed in the 200 meters distance and all. But here, where archaeological finds are been trashed with the excavation machine, what is the effect on people who do studies on this and all? Where are those people? Are they not those archaeologists and all? They are not seen to be speaking,
See, Naresh,
apart from the activists.
I just spoke about intact. Professor Sakaranand is well aware and he has been associated with these kind of organizations. These are recognized by the government of India. Now, preservation of artifacts, taking care of them, it is not because I want and you want, it has to be done. The law decides that. The law mandates that.
True.
And it is well laid down. That is why on day one, when Mr. Abedin Miran and myself happened to reach there on 22nd of March, and the moment we were shown that the cannonballs had surfaced, that is the time I flagged it and I said, nothing doing. This excavation cannot go ahead. Because the law mandates very clearly the archaeological find has to be reported. And now today when I get under RTI, this very condition that is laid down, that GTDC ought to have immediately notified the find, archaeological find, that is the cannonballs. How on earth they could have excavated the way they have done? That is what is punishable, that is what I'm saying.
So my question was actually, I got diverted in asking too many things. But my question was, the Archaeological Survey of India, they have archaeologists, they have got people who are very, very into this particular thing. Why it has to be going through the official chair, we are investigating and we are doing this thing? We have not seen the archaeologists cordoning the site, we have not seen all those things that happens in other states, is what my question is.
No, they never speak. They don't say anything. At least that is my observation. Over so many years we have been interacting with them. Our Goa Heritage Action Group itself is 25 years old. So we have been interacting. They never come out and they never speak. In fact, they are the one. They are the custodians of all this.
True.
And but they never. That is the reason the bungalow has come up now. In a World Heritage Site, UNESCO listed World Heritage Site. How can a bungalow come up within the heritage site? So that itself opposite the ASI office. The ASI office is right opposite the bungalow. So which means the ASI in Goa is toothless. It looks like that because we are somewhere else. The ASI officers sit right opposite the bungalow. So while the bungalow was being constructed, how was permission given? They are paid for the job. We are not paid for the job. This is not our job. But because of our love for heritage history, we are doing this. But those officers and those whoever officers of the ASI or the Goa State Archaeology, they are paid to do their job. They have to do their job. That's their job. They have no other job. So they can see now that bungalow coming up. They can see the 18 cannonballs it is.
This is showing that ASI Goa has just become a postman.
State Archaeology also.
Just a postman.
Both.
Because what comes from Delhi, they are only transferring from there to the agency, in this case the GTDC. So why do we require postmen? Why we require post offices? We require people who will work, who will act proactively, which is not happening. I have seen this. And to add to that, just by paying this 8 rupees, I got this yesterday. But even to get this yesterday was a Herculean task. Let me make it very clear to you. I was invited to collect 2 papers by their letter. And when I go to collect it, for this 8 rupees, I had to wait practically almost half an hour. Little bit arguing also with the people there. They are very reluctant to part with information. They don't want to give. When I tell them it is my right under Right to Information Act, that is the time they relent. Otherwise, by and large, they are reluctant to part with any information which they have. I don't know why, whether it is their private property. But bringing out heritage bylaws is very, very important, because there even the private properties which the builders have captured there will come under regulation, which the government.
एक क्वेश्चन ना सर,
Yes.
जो बंगलो येल्लो हा, एक बंगलो हा. सेकंड थिंग, ताका फाटी ते JCB घालून तेंच्यानी सगळे ते काडलेले खणला बिणला ते So is ASI directly responsible for all the mess that it is taking around in and around the UNESCO?
Not
World
only
Heritage?
ASI. What about state archaeology? Goa State Archaeology is the other state agency to protect heritage. Na? So, and if considering ASI, like beyond 21 monuments which are listed under them, which is the other monument that they have notified? They are sitting with the 21 monuments. That's it. That also those 21 monuments were notified long ago. After that, there has been no update. At least the Goa State Archaeology now planning to notify Betul Fort, Taide Temple, and all. After repeatedly that file was lying there for such a long time. Now that Taide file temple has been taken up for this thing notification. So what I am saying is not only ASI, the state archaeology, both the onus lies on them. No, they are paid to do their job. They are not doing anything favor or anything. Even the stone fall, they have to look into it. Every time we have to make the noise. Elvis Baba, the full त्याची file तयार केल्या आणि he has repeatedly is asking for RTI and all. This is not our job.
आणि एक सर या की ते JCB घालून नाही केल्यान. So artifacts have been stolen, must have been stolen there. The work was done. So is there any criminal proceeding going on?
So far, I don't see any criminal proceeding.
No.
That is our demand. Why people should file criminal cases? Aberdeen has filed a criminal case before the police station. I have filed a case before the police station. But it is the ASI's job. That is what I am saying. They have the mandate under the law. And the day when people made noise and found that that a lot of artifacts are being excavated, they were nowhere on the site. They were nowhere on the site, and there is every possibility that there has been theft of these artifacts, because from the Google search, it was revealed that one cannonball could in the international market cost anything between Indian rupees 40,000 to 50,000 that particular time. So you can imagine what could have happened. सगळी चोरी चल्ल्या गोंयांत चोरपाक काढला सगळ्या लूट चल्ल्या वयता ते.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.